All right. Thank you. Give me 1 second, guys. I'm so sorry about that. All right. So good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to our 349th weekly webcast. Now, if you have questions, please type them right now in the chat. I've been doing this for 8 or 9 years now, and it's still not perfect, but I'm making a couple of changes today. What I'm doing is I'm playing around with the lighting as well as zooming in and out as well. So let me show you behind the scenes what I'm trying to accomplish here. Okay, so what I've got here, I'll show you, is I'm using a product called Wirecast. And within Wirecast, what you can do is you can change scenes. And I'm trying to compete with professional journalist companies, media companies, in terms of using pedals, etc. So I'd love to hear your feedback on this as we move through this new process. Okay, I love to take risks. All right, so let me know what you guys think. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to kick it off today with a quick discussion about Bitcoin. Okay, because everybody is freaking out right now, and I love to buy stocks when people are freaking out. Okay, and any asset class for that matter. Now, the great Wayne Gretzky, what he said was he said that he was successful not because he skates where the puck is, but rather because he skates where the puck is going to be. As a result, you need to buy stocks and assets and investments in general that people are going to like, okay? Not ones that people like right now, otherwise you're never going to make money. So when it comes to Bitcoin, I'm getting excited right now. And the reason I'm getting excited is if you look at the relative strength index, the relative strength index on Bitcoin right now is just under 20. And I love to buy broken charts, but not broken investments. And I don't think it's broken, right? So you never want to buy any asset when everybody else loves it, okay? Otherwise, there's not that many incremental investors to push it higher. Okay, skate to where the puck is going to be. Buy stocks and investments that people are going to like. Now, I haven't seen Bitcoin this oversold since I think it was April of last year when Trump announced the tariff stuff, when the market panicked. And remember, Nvidia was massively oversold then as well, with an RSI approaching 20. Okay, so do your own homework first, obviously, but you need to be a contrarian in order to watch your net worth take off. Always. Okay. And I think what we're seeing this year also is sector rotation and de-risking. So people are getting out of tech and into energy and more defensive stocks. Yeah. Now, with respect to Bitcoin's volatility, it acts like a stock that has a beta of 2. So the market's down over 1% today. So of course, Bitcoin is down more. It's a bit of an overreaction, in my humble opinion. Now, I don't know the path, but I know the destination on Bitcoin longer term. My humble opinion is that in 20 years, Bitcoin is going to be worth $1 million per coin. Okay, and I can talk about my investment framework and how I get there mathematically. Do your own research. Last thing I'll say on this is that I don't care how attractive a company is. You never make it more than 5% of your portfolio. Okay, all right, good. All right, let me get to your questions. Thanks everybody with your patience with me today as I try to push the goalpost out with this new system where I'm trying to play around with the lighting and zooming in and out just so I can add more value humbly than CNBC, if I can. Although I'm making a fool of myself, but that's okay. All right, first question I got is from Prashant, who I think is in my silver MBA program. You wrote, I saw a couple of new bundles on the interface. Can you please help me with the difference? Yeah, absolutely. So we changed our business model about a year ago. And I'm glad we did. So we have the quintessential social network for business now. And let me show you what this means, okay? So what we've done is we've transitioned everything to a network, okay? So we have our own social network. And if you join my social network, and you have to interview first for it, but what you get is you get all 700 hours of my award-winning content, as well as daily access to me, daily group Zoom meetings. And you also get access to tons of other people that share wins, they introduce themselves, etc. And so in this cohort here, I've got 158 people. If you're interested in joining, at the bottom of the screen here, you're going to see a link that says set up a call with us. So we interview everybody first before anybody. All right. Great. Thanks again, everybody, for your patience with me as we try out a brand new system. Like Reid Hoffman, who is the brilliant co-founder of LinkedIn, he said, if you release your product when it's ready, you've missed the market. So I'm taking risks here. Okay, let me move on. All right, Manas, how are you? Manas wrote, what do you think of Alberta trying to gain independence and join the United States? It started as something small, but now it seems to gain lots of momentum. What is it and why is it happening now? Yeah, it's because, so Alberta, great province in Canada, 84% of all oil, crude in Canada comes from Alberta, right? So it's a hidden treasure. And taxes are very, very high in Canada. I don't think it's going to get support, and I don't think it's ever going to happen. And the reason I say that is because Canadians get free healthcare, which is a beautiful thing. And a lot of people in Alberta have pensions as well, which could be gone if they merge with the United States. Now, currently, according to polls, less than 25% of people in Alberta want to join the United States. I don't think it will happen. Yeah. Okay. Next question is, do you scout for margin inflection in companies and how? Yeah, absolutely. So what I do is I create financial models for companies that I own and I'm interested in. And what I always do is I always try to model 5 to 10 years out, and I look for an increase, usually in operating margin. Some people call it EBITDA margins as well. Now, there's two ways to increase margins. Number one, you increase revenue. Number two, you cut expenses. These 4 red items here that my fingers are on. Okay, and once you see a bit of an inflection point and margins rising, then it might be a good time to consider buying the stock because your earnings estimates mean your EPS, earnings per share, will be much higher longer term. Now, never look at the valuation of a company this year or next year and ignore what Wall Street is modeling and Wall Street's earnings estimates. I want you to do your own research, and I want you to value companies based off your earnings estimates in 5 or 10 years. And this is why I've humbly done well over the years. I remember when I worked in the hedge fund industry, I owned Amazon, and people said to me, Chris, you're cray-cray. This is a widowmaker. Why would you own a company that trades at over 100 times earnings? And my response was always, no, it trades at 3 times my earnings estimates in 5 years. Yeah, so just the longer the view, the wiser the intention. And give me feedback on what you guys think of these new camera angles, lighting, etc. I don't want it to be distracting at all. I'm just trying to enhance the customer experience here. Okay, let me go back now. And if you have questions on how I'm doing this, please let me know. Now, for everybody out there that does Zoom calls, interviews, etc., a great Zoom setup will do more for your career than a great Italian suit will because of first impressions, etc. When you do a Zoom call, what I want you to do always is make sure that the camera is at eye level. If you're looking up at the camera, it looks wimpy. If you're looking down, it looks arrogant. And make sure that your fingers are, or your head is 2 fingers away from the top of the screen. Let me get to the next question now. Okay. All right. What other red flags do you look for apart from declining organic growth? And for those of you not familiar with organic growth, what that means is growth from internal R&D or internal products. Okay. And you never want to invest in a company that is buying growth, meaning they're just buying too many companies for the sake of growing. So what I like to look at in terms of looking for other red flags is I have a 100-step investment framework. Now, the most important step whenever you invest in a company is the management team, okay? Because what is a company? It's the quality of the management team. If Elon Musk left Tesla or SpaceX, nobody would invest. In fact, when a founder leaves a company, investors should always run for the exit. That's the first thing you should always look at, okay? Other things you want to be careful of are the size of the market. You never want to invest in a company in a tiny market, meaning a tiny total addressable market. And of course, you're going to analyze all the financial statements here. And what I do is, after you answer all the questions here, I create a one-page executive summary for you, as well as a very detailed report that you can bring to your interviews, etc. If you guys have questions about that, let me know. Okay. Okay. Next question is, I have a question for you. Is it worthy to change RAM if it goes bad or buy a new PC? What do you imagine if a PC is 5 years old? Just buy a new one, because the average PC drops in price about 5% per year. That means over 5 years, it's going to drop well over 20%. In terms of RAM, RAM prices and a lot of component prices are spiking a little bit right now because of AI. But what I recommend doing is, when you buy a new PC or laptop, get as much RAM as you can. Okay. And that's more important, in my humble opinion, than the processor or the hard disk space. Yeah. So if you buy a Mac, like a laptop, it's hard to upgrade. Get as much as you can, if possible. If you buy a desktop computer, of course, you can always put in different slots. Yeah. And I can talk about it in more detail if you want me to. And according to a McKinsey study done in the late 1990s, the average component price in PCs, televisions, handsets, etc., drops by about 0.1% every single week. Okay, next question is, South America is going to be exporting cheap bulk of agriculture products to the EU soon. The deal has been made. It's faced protests, but the bill still passed. What do you think of this and the impact on farmers in Europe? So it's unfortunate for farmers, but only 4% of the European workforce works in agriculture, commensurate with the United States. The United States might be a little bit less right now. I think it's a great thing. This joint venture they have with South America, because what happens is that will keep prices lower, and as a result, lower inflation means lower interest rates. Yeah. Okay, Sanjay wrote, belated wishes, Chris. Thank you. And then you wrote, is Palantir a $1 trillion company? Is it worth that much? I think so. Now, when you analyze companies, I don't want you to value companies based on this year's earnings or next year. I want you to look 5-10 years. Now, I'm pretty close to Palantir. I partner with Peter Thiel's firm, Founders Fund, when I worked in venture capital, and I had a pre-IPO investment in the company. Yeah, the biggest risk for the company is a little bit too much dependence on the U.S. government. Yeah. But there's really a dearth of investable AI companies, and Palantir, I think, is one of the best. Yeah, as controversial as it is, of course. Okay. Robert wrote, hey, Chris, I talked to Tom Sosnoff, who co-founded Thinkorswim and Tasty Trade, about your options course, especially your binomial spreadsheet. He was very impressed with it and seemed to be stumped. Awesome. Thank you. I'd love to talk to you. Why don't you set up a call with me? Go right here, set up a call. I'd love to chat with you. Thanks. Appreciate that. I think Thinkorswim used to be owned by TD. Yeah, it's been sold a couple times. Okay. Now, if anybody wants to practice options, I don't want you guys to invest in options without practicing for at least 6 months. Okay, they're very, very dangerous. What I want you to do actually is I want you to create a paper account, and you can do that using a software called Thinkorswim. Okay, and if you're outside of the United States, you can always set up a VPN to try it out. Yeah. All right. Next question I've got here is. Whoa, tons of questions just hit. Okay, a couple questions on S1 documents. Yeah. So what's going to happen is very, very soon, you're going to see the S1 for SpaceX hit sec.gov. Okay. And when you see the S1 hit sec.gov, that means that the company will probably go public within 6 months. And the best way to do investment research on a company, okay, before it goes public, is to always look at the S1. And we do a case study on this in my MBA degree programs on Facebook, which I invested in when it was a private company, when I worked in venture capital, my firm. And when you look at the S1, you've got the past couple of years of financial history. So you can kind of make a historical financial model and forecast the future as well. And all risks are listed as well. And lawyers and investment bankers, of course, create these things. Yeah. And if you have additional questions about S1s, by all means, please let me know. Thank you. Okay. All right, next question is, the VU and QQQ are all down. Claude effects ? Yeah, and I think what you're referring to is the fact that the CEO of Anthropic made some bearish comments about software the other day. Okay, and basically what he said was that AI is going to advance at such a dramatic pace in the next couple of years that it could make a lot of software companies lose a ton of market share. Companies like Salesforce, Adobe, etc. Yeah. I think people are overreacting, to be honest. Yeah. And again, I love to buy my favorite stocks when they're oversold, meaning when the RSI is 20. Yeah, always invest for the long term. And remember, we don't care about the path of our investments. We care about the destination. Yeah. Okay. And the best investors and business people I've ever worked for are highly unemotional. And this is the time to be unemotional too. Okay, if that makes sense. All right. What is the future of financial modeling? Will AI do it from scratch? Yeah. So I think that AI is going to replace a lot of accounting jobs. Now, let me quickly explain the difference between accounting and finance. Accounting is like a science. It's backwards looking. Okay. Whereas finance is like an art. You have to forecast the future. Okay. And I don't think AI is going to be very good at that. Okay. Don't rely too much on AI, please, for forecasts. Always do your own research. Yeah. The accounting jobs, anything repetitive, I think AI will take. The finance jobs, less so, in my humble opinion. Yeah. Okay. Great. And then please give me feedback, guys, on this new camera work I've got here, as well as the new lighting. Let me know if you think it's overkill, etc. I've got pedals here. I'm just kind of playing around with it. Yeah, because I'm a nerd. Okay. Sanjay wrote, I finally finished watching the show The Beast and Me. It was okay, Chris. I don't know, maybe if you can try London Spy, it's good. Yeah, I loved it. Claire Danes was fantastic in that. Yeah. Yeah. And of course, she was in Homeland as well. Okay. Yeah, there's a question about Epstein files. I don't want to go there here. Sorry. Yeah. I mean, everything I know, you guys know as well, to be honest. Yeah. Okay. All right. All right, next up, Conrad wrote, hey, Chris, stocks, metals, cryptos are down and still going down. What signs are you looking for when a bottom is near, and are you currently buying? I always buy when the market is pulling back, okay? Don't ever buy anything when it's at an all-time high, okay? And I've said the past couple of weeks, like, as much as I love gold, and silver and copper, et cetera, which are all at recent all-time highs. I don't chase anything when it's an all-time high. I love to buy stuff when everybody is selling it. When everyone's freaking out, when there's blood in the streets, that's when you buy always. Now, in terms of when do you go all in? You go all in when the VIX hits close to 70. Okay, now the VIX is a measure of volatility, and I put my reputation on line with what I'm about to say. When the VIX, if it hits close to 70, then I don't care. You buy riskier assets. Okay, do your own research, of course. Now, that's not the only time to buy. You can always buy your favorite asset classes when they're oversold. But let me show you where the VIX is right now. Let's go together to finance.yahoo.com and I'll explain what the VIX is from scratch. And every chart tells a story. Okay. Now, the VIX is up 20% today, which means that there's 20% more panic today than there was yesterday. But the VIX is still very, very low. What I want you to do is the only time to use the VIX as a measure of should I buy stocks and go all in is when the VIX is above 70 or approaching 70. Okay. Now, the VIX is a measure of volatility created by the CBOE, Chicago Board of Exchange, back in 1990. And when the VIX is high, what that means is a lot of people are transacting in the options market on the S&P 500 over the next 30 days, and they're worried about volatility, which means fear. Now, if we look here, we see that the VIX actually in 2008, when we were within 24 hours, bank machine's not working, the VIX hit, it was above 70 intraday. You can't see this. And then in Q1 of 2020, during the COVID mess, the VIX, you can't see it here, but intraday actually hit 80. Okay, and that's when the price of oil in the futures markets went to negative $40. Okay, so we are very far off from mass panic at this point. Okay, but when it comes to Bitcoin, for example, if you're a long-term investor, this is where you buy. Okay, I'll show you right here. So let's look at the chart of Bitcoin right here. Okay, of course, do your own research and all that crap. Okay, but if I look here, look at this. The RSI of Bitcoin is at like 17 or 18. I haven't seen it this low in a long time, if ever. Let me see if it ever got this low. Let's go back here. Yeah, I don't remember seeing it this low in a long time. Yeah. So let me actually go here to, let's go to all. Okay. Yeah, and you can't see intraday here, but this is where I buy assets, right? Do your own research first, okay? And I don't want you guys to be panicking, okay? I want you to be very long-term focused. And we've all panicked before, dude. I've been there. I panicked too, right? And if you like an asset, like an investment that you're going to hold for many years, the chart might look like this over time. And maybe this is where Bitcoin is right now. But in the long run, I still think Bitcoin is going to hit $1 million per coin. Yeah. Do your research first, please. Okay. Conrad wrote, I recently sold silver when it was near 100, and I'm excited for these lower prices. Cheers from Canada. Awesome. Awesome. I love that attitude. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Sanjay wrote, how do you find a growth company with revenue negative? Yeah, I've never seen a company have negative revenue unless there was some kind of accounting restatement. Yeah. Okay, next up, hey Chris, hope you're well. Dark Luminaire, great to see you. First time seeing you on the call. Hope you join us again. Okay, recently India has announced its 2026 budget that apparently implies its intention towards a bullish economy and bearish market. It's reducing speculation by increasing taxes in F&O and exempted sovereign gold funds. There's also a new trade deal between India and the United States, which is awesome. A YouTuber I watched said India is not a good long-term investment. What are your thoughts on this? I completely disagree. India is the world's largest country and world's largest democracy. And I expect the United States and India to be great friends forever. Yeah, I'm bullish on India in the long run. Don't listen to naysayers, please. Okay. And if you think about it, if you watch financial television shows like CNBC, which will walk you off a cliff, they're losing share to YouTubers and other media formats. As a result, what they do is they always say this: find out why the world is going to end after this commercial break. Just be long-term focused, please. The longer the view, the wiser the intention. Okay. This is not the time to panic, ever. Okay. In fact, if you bought stocks at the peak of the market in 2007, before the 2008 crash, you'd be up a lot. If you bought real estate, at the peak of the real estate bubble, you'd be up a lot. Just be long-term focused. Remember, we don't care about the path. We care about the destination. Yeah. All right. Give me 1 second here. Okay. Donish wrote, Chris is an excellent guide for gaining real learning experience. If you have the financial resources, I would strongly encourage you to join his program. Oh, thank you. To gain valuable insight about finances. Thank you so much. If anybody wants to join, just set up a call with my team here. Thanks. Okay. When you say when the VIX is high, put your money into riskier assets. But shouldn't it be the other way around, because we know that safer assets are where? No. So when the VIX is really high, it will at some point reach 70 again. I promise you. And the reason why it's going to reach 70 at some point is because something that we can't forecast. Okay. For example, a black swan event. And this is a great book by Nicholas Taleb. A black swan means something you can't forecast, like 9/11 or COVID, for example. I don't know what the next black swan is going to be that's going to make the VIX go up to 70 or 80. But I promise you, and I put my reputation on the line, when it happens, people are going to panic, and no matter what, you buy riskier assets after you've done your research. Okay, yeah. Things are never as bad as they seem. Also, we know that cash is trash, right? So we know for a fact that the United States government is going to keep printing this stuff. So that means that the worst thing you can do is sit on cash. So the amount of cash out there is up $6 trillion today at 96 trillion versus COVID in 2020. So if the government's printing more of this stuff, they're basically telling you, you have to invest in anything other than cash, meaning real estate, which is my favorite investment class. My grandfather used to say, Chrissy, buy land, they're not making it anymore. Or you can buy stocks you're bullish on for the long run. And when you invest in stocks, don't day trade. I want you to always ask yourself this one question before you start investing. Okay, ready? In 5 years, will this company and the sector it's in be more relevant or less relevant than it is today? And that will stop you from getting seduced into buying stocks that are cheap for a reason. Value traps. Don't get seduced into that. For example, Yahoo, years ago. We knew Google would take share. Or Research in Motion. We knew that in January 2007, when this bad boy was announced by Steve Jobs, that this is something you'd want to invest in. Yeah. And again, never, ever, 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 ever invest in a company when the founders resign. Yeah. Okay. What is your take on rich man's Roth? I'm skeptical if it's optimal for me, but curious, how do you evaluate when it's actually worth doing? Yeah, I think you might be talking about a Roth IRA. So let me explain this very quickly. So you have a 401k, right, which in the United States is the retirement savings program most people use. And that means you put money in, you invest, it goes up in value for many, many years. Then you take the money out and you pay taxes. Now I'm going to talk about Peter Thiel and what he did with the Roth IRA, and I'll explain a Roth IRA briefly. A Roth IRA is the opposite of that. A Roth IRA means you pay taxes first, then you put it into the Roth IRA, $6 or $7 grand. Okay. Then it grows tax-free. And when you take the money out many years from now, you don't pay taxes. Now, you should only do that if you think that your tax rate in the future is going to be way higher than it is today. So what did Peter Thiel do? Well, according to people familiar with the matter, what he did was he took his investment in Palantir and perhaps Facebook and other assets. And he put it into his Roth IRA at something like 0.00001 cent per share. And it was like $6 grand at the time. Pay taxes first. And now that Roth IRA of his is probably worth $20 billion tax-free. Yeah. Now, for those of you that watch my YouTube channel and my Wall Street Pro reacts to, what I'm doing next is I've been working for about a month now, okay, on the social network. And I even read the book that it's based on. And Peter Thiel put in $500,000 into Facebook when it was worth next to nothing. Yeah. So I'll be talking a lot about this in an upcoming vlog. Look for it on my YouTube channel, please. Thanks. Okay. And nobody's giving me feedback yet on the new lighting or this stuff and if it's distracting, etc. I want to get to the point where I don't have to look down and I can just do this. Just let me know what you guys think. Thanks. Okay. Okay, give me 1 second. Namatt wrote, can we rely on AI information? You got to fact check everything. So whenever I do AI prompts, I always say, please show me sources as well. Okay. All right, next question I've got here is... Sorry, still having issues trying to perfect this. All right. What do you think of Claude Code being Anthropic's parent company? How will AI impact IT services that India provides to the United States? Do you think U.S. companies will set up their own IT offices instead of outsourcing? Yeah, I think the worst thing you can possibly do right now is get a job as a developer. And don't just take it from me. Take it from Jensen Huang, the brilliant founder and CEO of NVIDIA. He said the worst thing you can do is study computer science. And the reason is because AI was created perfectly to replace programmers. Even if you look at Anthropic, meaning the owner of Claude, internally, most of the code that they generate is not done by their developers anymore. Of course, they supervise it. Yeah. Okay. Next question is, Chris, I recently invested in top performing gold, silver mining companies. As from my point of view, both work in parallel. What is your point of view looking at future perspectives of stock value and gold and silver itself? Yeah. I think that it's always easier just to invest in ticker GLD. Don't do it now. Okay. Don't do it when it's at near an all-time high. Okay, ever. But ticker GLD is great to invest in because you know it's real gold. Also, the fees are relatively low at only 0.4% per year. What does that mean? That means for every $100 you put in, you're paying 40 pennies in fees, which is nothing. If you invest in a gold miner like Barrick Gold, a ticker ABX, you've got a lot of risk with respect to exploration, etc. Yeah, it's easier this way, in my humble opinion. And be careful of the junior miners, okay? Like penny stocks. It's really, really dangerous. Okay. Can you please give some tips for swing traders? Okay. Well, you know that I don't believe in day trading. Okay. And there's a lot of people that are going to lose their shirts that are day trading over the past couple of days. That much I promise you. You got to be a long-term investor. But if you are going to swing trade, 3 to 6 month trades, you can always just buy and sell based on a couple things. Number one, relative strength index. So when the RSI is 20 on asset classes or below, you go long. When it's 80, meaning overbought, you go short or you sell that position, I should say. You can also look at moving averages, like the 50-day moving average, see if a stock or an investment violates that. If it does, maybe you can trim that position. You can also look at the 200-day moving average, and you can also look at what's called the death cross, which means the 50-day goes down through the 200-day. Yeah. And the opposite of that is a bullish formation called the golden cross. And you can always do a search on my YouTube channel on technical analysis if you want. Done a lot of videos on that. I want you to look at fundamentals first, though, valuation second, and distant third, technical analysis. And if you're in my subscription programs during our daily Zoom calls, you can always ask me about individual stocks as well, etc. Okay. Last week we talked about silver and gold, and I asked if there ever was a crash like Bitcoin, and they did the next day. How come? And also, it's down 40% in a week. Yeah, you're talking about Bitcoin. Yeah. So Bitcoin is basically erased all the gains since the Trump bump rally started. So what you're seeing right now is de-risking, right? People are selling anything risky right now. That's it. And Bitcoin is very risky. Yeah. Okay. Okay, next question from Namat is, Chris, I want to be an investor, but I'm confused about it. Where should I start from? How did you start? Yeah, so I started investing when I was 13. I started investing in stocks at a very, very young age. I was passionate about it. What I would do is, if you want to, you can set up a call with me or take one of my courses if you want to. But I want you to be long-term focused. And for anybody investing in stocks, if you're buying stocks and not ETFs, again, I don't want more than 5% of your portfolio to be in any one particular stock. Plus, I don't want more than 20% of your portfolio to be in any one particular sector, okay? And I want you to think long-term as well, okay? Think long-term, like Warren Buffett, who I always love to talk about, who taught one of my class. He was a guest speaker when I went to Columbia 8 million years ago. But Warren Buffett, whenever he buys a stock like Coca-Cola, which his fund Berkshire bought around 1990, which they own today, he always tells himself after he buys a stock that he's assuming that the market's going to be closed for 10 years, meaning he cannot sell this thing. Be long-term focused. And even if you bought Coca-Cola day one on the IPO, it actually went down about 50% 1 year later. So just be long-term focused, okay? Be a long-term investor and be a contrarian and watch your net worth take off, okay? Don't do what everybody else does. Okay. Happy birthday. You're 24, as 54 minus 30 is 24. No, thank you. Yeah, I turned 54 on February 2nd. I'm a man-child. I'm going to be here every week for the rest of my life. Okay, I'm going to live to 150 like many people on this webcast will. So we got 100 more years of this crap to go through. Now, the only time you're not going to see me, okay, on this weekly call, I have to pre-announce negatively right now, okay? The only time you're, and let me actually change the lighting, and let me set the tone here. Let me go pink because this is pretty serious. Okay. When GTA 6 comes out, you're not going to see me for a while. Okay. I care about you guys, but I care about GTA 6 more. Okay. Now you know. I won't be here when GTA 6 comes out. Yeah. Okay. Back to less serious lighting. Okay, good. All right. Next up, I recently learned that the bid-ask spread matter a lot when researching for my first investment in an ETF. Can you explain the nuanced concept simply, please? Yeah, absolutely. Okay. So when you want to buy a stock or sell a stock, right, there's a bid-ask spread. Okay. And always think of it as you getting screwed. So if you buy a stock, you got to buy up here. If you sell a stock, you have to sell down here. And the more something trades, the more narrow the bid-ask spread is. If something is very illiquid and it doesn't trade that many shares per day, then you can drive a truck through that bid-ask spread, as they say on Wall Street. Okay? So you only want to invest in companies that are very liquid, meaning they trade a lot. So what does that mean in practice? Well, I never want you to have a position in your portfolio that's more than 10% of the average daily trading volume. So if a stock trades 1 million shares per day, you cannot own more than 100,000 shares in your portfolio. And you'll thank me later for that, because illiquid stocks own you in a down market rather than vice versa. In the fall of 2008, what happened was a lot of hedge funds went bankrupt because they owned illiquid crap and they were getting redemptions and they were forced selling that and pushing the stocks down. Yeah. Okay. I'm confused in the market now. Everything goes up together, everything falls together. What is happening, and why are most theories failing flat since last year's interest rates down, assets are down? Yeah. So I think what's happening is since 2004, once people started investing in ETFs, things tend to move together, right? So a lot of forced selling is happening right now in the QQQs, right? I mean, the tech stocks and the NASDAQ. And so when you sell ETFs, it pushes all stocks down. But it's self-fulfilling, this sell-off. Yeah. And you can never time when the market's going to sell off, ever. Yeah. Or the market's going to peak. And who cares? Just be long-term focused. Yeah. Okay. Okay, and Ryan wrote, quick clarification. Sure. A rich man Roth, what I mean is cash value life insurance policies that high-income earners use for tax-free growth and withdrawals. I'm not familiar with that, but if you're ever going to invest in an insurance company and buy stocks, I'd caution you against that because there's a lot of hidden fees. So whenever you want to buy like an esoteric or complicated asset class, get on the phone with customer service, because every call is recorded for quality assurance, and explain to them what you think the fees are, and then say, is that right? And if they say no, rinse, lather, repeat until you get it right. Yeah. I don't believe in buying stocks or investing in insurance, or I don't believe in investing in insurance companies for stocks. Yeah. They're hidden fees, always. It's kind of like buying a mutual fund where there's tons and tons and tons of hidden fees. Mutual funds is for losers. Buy ETFs instead, please. Yeah. Okay. What do you think of the new Fed chief in making his wife is a billionaire? First time, I guess, Fed chief would come from that level of money. Your thoughts? Yeah. No, he married into wealth. Yeah, her family is just very, very rich. I think it might be the Estee Lauder family. I'm not sure. So I don't read into that at all. Yeah. But I do know that the new Fed chief is pretty close to Trump. Yeah. In terms of what they think of monetary policy. Yeah. I get the same news flow you guys get. All right, Malcolm wrote, I'm almost done reading The Wealthy Barber. Excellent. So Wealthy Barber is a great book, and the bottom line there is you want to live below your means. Okay, and it's similar to a book called The Millionaire Next Door. Now, The Wealthy Barber is a Canadian book about a barber who's a multimillionaire because he was cheap. Yeah. You wrote great book so far, but I feel like I'm allowed to own a couple conviction stocks as long as it's capped at 5%. The book seems very much against this. Yeah. Yeah, I believe in risk management. I want to be around to invest another day. And so good risk management is no more than 5% any one individual stock. Yeah. But the most important investment you'll ever make is buying your house. Because think how much money we waste on rent. Yeah. And when I bought my first apartment, my first house, my first apartment, I bought it in the Upper East Side, New York City, 87th and 2nd. And I bought it right after 9/11. And it felt awful. It felt really, really scary buying then. That's when you need to buy. You need to be a contrarian. Always. Yeah. And if it doesn't feel like you're buying at the wrong time, especially for real estate, then you're not buying it. You're buying it then you are buying at the wrong time, right? There's got to be fear. Yeah. Buy as much house as you can, but never put down never put down less than 20%. And I can talk about real estate if you want me to as well, more detail. Up to you guys. You guys, the customer. Okay. All right. Next question is the Biz Faith, who is actually one of my customers in my premium programs, William. William, good to see you. So William wrote, Chris, can I do YouTube shorts on some of the things you teach? Obviously, without saying where I got them from. Absolutely. Repurpose anything I do. Yeah, anything I do. And anybody who joins my programs, you can repurpose my spreadsheets, everything. I'm open sourced. I'm here to help. Yeah. Okay. Pinterest laid off tons of people, mostly engineers. So did Microsoft and even ASML, which is ASML. Hi, I'm 7. Sorry. ASML is, yeah. Well, one of the reasons is, as I mentioned before, the worst thing you could possibly do is become a developer, right? And if anybody is a developer right now, and I'm right at ground zero, man, here in the Bay Area. I have a lot of clients here that are developers that are trying their best to get out of that role. So set up a call with us if you want to learn how to get out of that role. Don't be a developer. Please don't do it, because AI is taking all developer jobs or all entry-level developer jobs. If you're more senior VP engineering level, I think you're safe. Yeah. So what should you do then? What is AI proof? Couple things. Sales. So if you're a direct salesperson, right, what that means is you own the relationship. Okay. And we don't trust AI. We don't. We trust people. So a sales role is always great. And a great entrepreneur and a great CEO, they're great salespeople. You can't make CEO without being a great salesperson, obviously. Another great career path, I believe, is private wealth management. And the reason I say this is because this is really sad to say, breaks my heart. But in the next couple of decades, we're going to see the biggest generational transfer of wealth as the baby boomers move on. So what that means is private wealth management is going to be the go-to job. So get into that industry if you can. If you do it and if you work for somebody else, your goal should always be, I'm going to spend 5 years working in PWM, private wealth management. Then I'm going to start my own company. Yeah. Otherwise, if you don't do that, then something terrible happens. You wake up one day and you have trouble getting out of bed because some schmuck is paying you this much money to make their dreams become a reality. In fact, anybody working for somebody else right now, I want you to write tons of business plans on the side. I can help you with it too. Because your goal should be to start your own company. The tax incentives are insane. Yeah. And you're free if you do that too. And for those of you that are frustrated at work right now, and I say this with love in my heart, good. Because you're going to look back, and if you embrace that frustration, you're going to look back and say, thank God that happened, because that forced me to start my own company, get a better job. Yeah. There's nothing, earmuffs time, there's nothing worse than spending the rest of your life being someone else's bitch. Yeah. Now, the way to know when to quit your full-time job to do your side hustle full-time is when the trailing 6 months revenue from your side hustle is greater than your annual salary. And I can explain why if you want me to. Okay, great. All right, next question is, Elon is mixing up his car company and AI and Twitter. Now, X is worth $800 billion alone. How is one man amassed so much power over the world? I mean, he's absolutely brilliant. Yeah. Ideas are commodities, execution is not. Yeah, yeah. And that's why whenever you invest in a company, the first thing you should look at is who's running the company. And if the founder's not running the company anymore, don't invest, period. Yeah. And turnarounds don't work in tech 99% of the time. The second you see a technology company start to become a little bit less relevant, it's game over. Okay? And usually when it's becoming a little bit less relevant, it's because the founder has left. Yeah, and bureaucracy sets in. Okay. Tesla recently said it's no longer a car company, it's a robotics company. Is it a green signal for BYD to be the leader? Yeah. I mean, I think there's room for a couple, EV car-based companies on the planet. And given trade restrictions, I don't think BYD is ever going to be in the United States. It is what it is. And maybe not Canada as well. Yeah. But I'd rather invest in Tesla longer term than BYD. That's just me. All right. Hash wrote, hello from Singapore. How are you? My wife was just there on business. Yeah. Next question is, will Optimus from Tesla replace workers around the world, specifically blue collar? Elon says it's useless to be a surgeon or a doctor as AI humanoid can do a better job in 5 years max. Yeah, so I don't think things are going to get that extreme. When AI was first released, a lot of radiologists were worried, oh my God, I'm going to lose my job to AI. Actually, their salaries have gone up. They can just be much more productive leveraging AI. Don't fear technology, guys, okay? See it as the ultimate enabler, okay? Don't believe the hype about AI taking all of our jobs. I've seen this story over and over and over again in my life. You go back to the 1980s. Japanese robotics companies like Fanuc, people thought were taking over the world with Japanese automation, right? In factories with autos, etc. We just moved to a services-based economy. 100 or 200 years ago, most of the labor force was in farming. We adapted. In 1999, when there was a beta release of Google, people were like, oh my God, Google is going to think for us. We adapted. In late 2001, when Wikipedia was first released, people thought, oh my God, Wikipedia is going to do all the thinking for us. We adapted. We always adapt, okay? Leverage AI to be more productive than your competition. And try to disrupt yourself before the marketplace does. Kind of like what Reed Hastings did with Netflix, the brilliant founder and former CEO of Netflix. Used to be a DVD mail-based company. Now it's streaming. Disrupt yourself before the marketplace does. And a buddy of mine actually, he's got his robot coming to his house in a couple of days. Cameron, good buddy of mine. I'm going to go check it out. Yeah. And my buddy's buying a robot. How cool is that? And I will buy one soon as well to test it out. All right, Namat wrote, what is the secret behind that lovely smile? I'm hiding an insecure, tiny man who knows nothing. And if you meet me in real life, I'm a tiny person. Now, I had a client who had an interview yesterday. And I'm going to give you guys a great tip on how to do a Zoom interview. You're going to get a sticky. You're going to draw a smiley face, okay? Then what you're going to do, let me see if I can zoom in for this. Then what you're going to do is you're going to stick this right beside your camera. Okay, thanks. Okay. All right, good. This new setup looks cool with the background. More, please, if you could walk me through the setup. Thank you. Yeah, absolutely. So let me show you guys the setup I have with this. Okay, so I'm using a product called Wirecast, okay? And it costs like $500 a year, but you can use a free product like this if you want to, called OBS, which stands for Open Broadcasting Software. And what I've done is I've mapped these camera angles to different hotkeys, okay? So I'm gonna click on the pedal for this one here, and then I'll click on the pedal for this one here in a second, okay? So, and I gotta make the transition faster. So this is one pedal, and that way I can have my hands free. I click the next pedal, and I can talk about something a little bit more dramatic while I change the lighting as well with other pedals if I want to. Yeah. So anyway, I'm having too much fun with this. Am I a nerd? You're darn tootin' I am. Okay. All right. And the pedal you can get from Elgato or other companies too. It's like $100. Okay. You were right about quant using weather as an indicator for buying or selling stocks. I read people in Nordic nations measure water temperature to know if they would need more oil or not, and the effects oil prices. Yeah. So the best example I can mention of quant-based hedge funds analyzing weather patterns is Renaissance Technologies. So Renaissance Technologies, founded by Jim Simmons, a brilliant man who worked for the NSA. He quit the NSA in 1983, started Renaissance Tech. And his hedge fund has had like 40% gross return on average since then. God bless him, he passed away recently. But what he does is he has thousands of Linux servers running in parallel, right? It's an AI company. It always has been. And then what it does, it picks stocks. So for example, if it's raining a lot, that's an input. And this is a stupid example. If it's raining a lot, then short restaurant stocks because people don't go out to dinner or lunch when it's raining. That's right. Okay. Next question from Sassy. Hey, Sassy wrote, how can someone be full of energy all the time like you? Okay, couple things. Okay. You have to do what you love doing. Okay. And we are here to serve others. We are here to help people. Our purpose in life is when we leave this world, somehow make it a better place. Okay. So a lot of you work in a job where you're helping your clients. Right? When I worked at Accenture or Accenture years ago, our motto was, what do? We help our clients change to be more successful. So if you go in with that mantra, that thought process, that you're helping people, then it makes it more fun doing what you're doing. Aside from that, I do a lot of biohacking as well. Okay, so what I do is I drink an entire thing of this every single day. Okay, it's just water or vodka when I'm nervous. I'm just kidding. I also drink bulletproof coffee every morning. I can explain what that means if you want. It helps with cognitive abilities. And then every Sunday, I make 7 of these things, which has kale and every antioxidant on the planet. I also have a treadmill below my desk. And what I do is I get my 20,000 steps in per day here, work out in the gym if I can as well. And the latest thing I've done, a couple of things I've done, I'm always biohacking, is I've started going to the sauna 3 times per week. I go to an infrared sauna place, and I ordered my own sauna. It's coming in May. It's being built right now. But if you go to the sauna, right, do it 3 times per week for like 40 minutes, no more than 150 degrees Fahrenheit. Then what's going to happen is you're going to sleep better, you're going to eat better, you're going to feel better about yourself, and your cognitive abilities are going to be better. You're going to have more energy as well. Yeah. So everybody, please try sauna out if you can. I also do lymphatic draining, right? I biohack a lot. I'm sure half the crap I do is bullshit, but anyway, lymphatic draining, what that means is this. So our body has a lymphatic draining system. What that means is it's kind of like a river, and the river gets rid of toxins. And so lymphatic draining is I stand on this machine for 20 minutes. I do it 3 times per week, and it vibrates. And what it does is it gets rid of toxins, lymphatic draining. And I also practice gratitude a lot. Before I get out of bed every day, I always thank God for 10 things in this order. Andrew, Matthew, Dylan, Christine, my wife, my mom, my dad, my brother, Jamie, the memory of my sister, Katie, I miss you. See you one day, I hope. My sister, Elizabeth, and then all of you, my learners, my clients, my students. I'm grateful for you. Practice gratitude every day before you get out of bed. And I promise you, every day you'll have more energy, you'll be happier. I'm bad with risk management. Any tips? I get excited sometimes, and even if I hedge, I sometimes push 20% or more in one asset. I know it's wrong, but I'm young and naive to learn. Yeah. Before you invest in any asset class, do a full write-up first. And you're part of my premium program. So today at 10 a.m. Pacific time on the Zoom call, I'll give you more insight too. Yeah. And what you can do, and this is for everybody here as well. Before you go to bed every night, what I want you to do, and my clients all do this, a lot of them do, is I want you to write tomorrow's schedule today. And then tomorrow night, when you make the next day's schedule, what I want you to do is I want you to grade yourself. Take 10% off for each violation. It's very subjective. For example, you take 10% off if you ate crappy foods. Another 10% off if you didn't go to a meeting. Another 10% off if you invested 20% in an asset instead of 5%. Another 10% off if you didn't get 8 hours sleep. That sort of thing. Okay? And this is like micro goal setting, and it helps. Yeah. And so for you, Manas, what you can do is you can go to the first personal growth lecture in the curriculum, PG11, Personal Growth Semester 1, Class 1, and download that template as well. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Most penny AI stocks, like SoundHound, are poor investments since the sector needs heavy funding and stays up. What are your thoughts on this? Yeah. Don't invest in penny stocks, please. In fact, if a stock is like under $4 for a certain amount of time, you can get delisted from NASDAQ, right? And instead of having 4 letters in the ticker, it can have a 5th letter as well. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. Yeah. And be careful with AI stocks too, especially ones that are very CapEx intensive, right? I like AI software investments. AI hardware stuff can be tough, and that's why Microsoft as well as Oracle have seen their stock prices pull back. One of the reasons is because they're investing a lot in AI infrastructure, meaning hardware, which hurts margins. Yeah. You said India. Okay, the question here is: you said India will be long-term best friends with the USA. I highly agree. Yep, democracy rocks. But I want to know your thought process and how it differs from mine. I've already heard democracy, population, and location. Yeah. Think about where India is located, right? Close to countries that the United States is not that friendly with. And India is the biggest democracy in the world. Yeah. Capitalism rocks. Fuck communism. Okay. Hey, Ted, how are you? Good to see you. Okay, give me 1 second, guys. So Ted wrote, what does a business plan for a nonprofit look like? It's very, very similar. But when you talk to your lawyer, you have to ask them about what 501c means and never intermingle your business or your personal stuff with it at all. So what you're going to do, Ted, is you're going to fill out my venture capital bootcamp spreadsheet and go through my venture capital bootcamp as well. Okay. And then you're going to write the full business plan, focus on the financials mainly. And then you're going to export it, and then your investor slides here. And your investor slides here can be used to raise capital for the not-for-profit. Now, for me, I don't have any not-for-profit companies. A lot of people ask me about why I do what I do. I'm going to die broke, and every penny is going to go to the 1,000 schools I'm building in Africa. This is the one I'm building right now. It's in Kenya. Now, all of these schools, just so you guys know that I built, the not-for-profit is never in my name. It's in my student's name. So this here is Marin, okay? And we're going to be opening this school next year, okay? The cost is going to be about $250K. It's a lot. It's more expensive in Kenya, and I'm going to pay for the whole thing myself, like I always do. And then a couple of years ago, I finished one, 3 years ago actually now, in Rwanda. So all the 1,000 schools I'm going to build are going to look like this here. Okay, so the school that we're going to build in Kenya is going to look exactly like this one here. Okay, great. And this here is Vital, one of my amazing students as well. Yeah. All right, let me go back to Big Chris mode. Maybe I'll change the lighting to something different. Try this out. Okay. All right, let me go to the next question. You advise to always put down 20% in your house. But if I'm buying a 2-unit where I live in one and I rent out the other, won't insurance fees be higher than if I put 5% down? Yeah, no matter what, you have to put down 20%. Okay, I don't, you have to, just to be conservative. Okay, it's good risk management as well. And what you can do is you can go to my complete real estate course. And what you're going to do is you're going to enter in the name, or pardon me, the address where the house is. This is one of the houses I own in Canada. Then before you buy, you're going to do a very, very in-depth write-up. And you're going to answer questions about income, depreciation, etc. Then I'm going to help you to value the property before you buy it using 5 different valuation methodologies. Okay, that's price per square foot or square meter, gross rent multiplier, cap rates, cost approach, and NPV. Location is the most important thing you can look at. Then I'm going to help you to put together your mortgage, depreciation deduction, real estate agents, etc. Then I create your financials for you, your balance sheet, and then the real estate formulas for you as well before you buy. And then you've got a one-pager you can print out, as well as a 27-page business plan. And remember, failing to plan is planning to fail. Okay? You have to have a business plan for everything. For a stock before you buy it. For a house before you buy it, etc. And I'm here to humbly help you as well. Okay, let me go back out to a different camera angle here. Let's try blue. Okay. Okay. Did you read that AI bots made a social media platforms for themselves and now are interacting within it in their own language? You have to search this. Never in history of humanity has there been a tech that teaches itself so fast and quick. Yeah. So what I would look at, the best thing you need to do when you're analyzing social media companies, okay, is in the early stages, you have to look at the number of subscribers. That's all that matters. Okay. And that's exactly what Facebook did early on. That's why Peter Thiel invested, because they got to 1 million subs within a short amount of time. So I'll give you a great example of this. So there's a dude, Evan Spiegel. Spiegel started a Snapchat. And he came to the Bay Area the first year after he started Snapchat. And he met with a lot of old venture capitalists, and he explained his business model. And the venture capitalists were like, dude, that is the dumbest idea I've ever heard of. Why would I want to take a picture of my kids and then have it disappear? And a year or two later, he went back to the same venture capitalist. And he said, remember me, I'm still trying to raise money. And they said, yeah, okay. Give me an update. And he said, yeah, sure, I've got 6 million subscribers. And those venture capitalists were like, dude, that's the best business model I've ever heard of. So all that matters early on with a consumer-based social media network is the number of subs you have. You know, it's kind of like Field of Dreams. If you build it, they will come. Yeah. Okay. Ernesto wrote, good morning from San Jose. How are you? Good to see you. What is the best business to start today and why? If you explain, where's the arbitrage and less friction? Yeah. So I used to believe that online teaching was the best job you could ever have. And I still believe it to a certain extent. And here's why. But there's got to be an element of community. So let me get there. So a lot of times our parents want us to be doctors or, God forbid, lawyers, right? Unless you're a civil rights lawyer, then I love you. And the reason was because they think you can make a lot of money as a doctor or a lawyer. Well, the problem with being a doctor or a lawyer is you only have one customer at a time, one patient at a time. It's not scalable. If you're a teacher and you teach online, you can have millions of potential customers at the same time. I humbly have over 2 million paying customers in every single country. That was me showing off. Sorry. Now, I think AI is starting to take share away from the EdTech market. And this may or may not be a reason why we've seen certain mergers occur. I can't go into much more detail than that, or acquisitions. So how do you make yourself relevant longer term if you're a teacher online? Well, the problem is this. A lot of people are going to AI and asking questions. So what happens to online teaching? Well, people are starting to get lonely, right? And I always think 3 to 5 to 10 years ahead of time. And my vision of the world is that a lot of people are going to use AI to learn. However, they're going to get really lonely. So we need a sense of community. And that's what I've done with my business. I've pivoted. I think I'm a couple of years ahead of the curve, and it's paying off well, humbly for me. So here's what I've done. So what I have is I have a community. And you get access to all my courses. And if you're interested, just set up a call. You'll see a link at the bottom there. We interview everybody before they're accepted. But I have all my courses here, 700 hours. There's an iPhone app, Android app as well. And then we have daily events. And then we have 159 members now in this program. And we all introduce ourselves. We share wins and progress. Everybody is additive to the community. So there has to be a sense of community for your online business to survive longer term. Okay, and this is the antithesis of AI. Okay. Remember Maslow's hierarchy of needs. There has to be a need for affiliation as well. Ooh, that was deep. And then Donish wrote, iron in transparency is the power of Chris's secret energy. No, thank you. Transparency builds trust. Yeah. And I get depressed every day if I don't help somebody. It's just the way I am. If you have $1 and you give it to somebody that needs it, it feels better than if you spend it on yourself, right? Yeah. Okay. And I'm thinking longer term too, kind of like Nelson Mandela, who said that education is the most powerful weapon that we can use to change the world. I really believe that. And Malala, who's one of my heroes, who I will interview one day on my weekly webcast, she said, with guns, you can kill terrorists, but with education, you can kill terrorism. Yeah. I think education fixes every problem in the world. Yeah. Every single one. Okay. Some influencers these days are suggesting that the days of building businesses from scratch are over. And this is a time to already existing boring businesses and improving them. What is your point of view? Yeah. Yeah, it's tough for me to answer that. But what I will say is I'll echo something that Jeff Bezos said, which is a company is only as good as its customer service. Bezos said that customer service and profitability are almost perfectly co-reliant in the long run. So if you're starting a business and you're trying to compete against big companies like IBM or whatever it is, the way that you can differentiate yourself is you can say this. Unlike the competition, we have the highest caliber and quality customer service. We are there for you 24/7, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. A company is only as good as its customer service. And for those of you trying to figure out what you're going to price for your service or product, I don't want you to focus on pricing. I want you to focus on results. Yeah. Don't commoditize yourself. Ted wrote, sorry, maybe I shouldn't laugh. Yesterday, I got the results from my IQ test. It came back negative. What to do? And I know you have a great sense of humor. I knew that was a joke. Yeah. Yeah. What I think is more important than IQ is EQ, emotional intelligence. Yeah. Okay. Do you think Elon... Oh, here we go. Sorry, it jumps on me when a lot of people enter questions. Okay, give me 1 second. Do you think Elon will get a pay package of $1.5 trillion in 5 years' time on condition that he sells 1 million Optimus in a year? Is it possible? And also, he is using money for fueling right-wing parties. Yeah, I don't want to get too political here, but money is all relative, okay? Right now, there's $96 trillion worth of this stuff out there, okay? And my humble opinion, and now I'm going to explain why I think Bitcoin is worth $1 million in the long run, okay? So my thought process is that we're going to see a mass increase in the amount of this stuff printed. I think that the $96 trillion we have in cash right now, I think it's going to increase 5% every year over the next 20 years. So if you do the future value of $96 trillion, okay, at a 5% increase over 25 years, that means 250 trillion of this stuff will exist in 20 years versus 96 trillion now. So right now, cryptocurrencies is, I don't know, it's maybe 3% of the value of the $96 trillion. Okay. I think Bitcoin is going to be 10% of the $250 trillion we're going to have in cash out there in 20 years. That means a market cap of $25 trillion for Bitcoin, which is how I get to my $1 million target price on Bitcoin in the long run. Now, as much as I love Bitcoin, I still wouldn't make it more than 5% of my liquid net worth, ever. Yeah. All right, now I have to answer the question. Is it possible Elon is using money for fueling right-wing parties? Yeah. Fuck it. I'm going there. So what I do like about what Elon is doing is freedom of speech. I'm glad he bought X, because Twitter was going way too far to the left, right? I'm against hateful things that are said. Okay, it's wrong. But I will say this, and I'm talking to all of my friends that are in the United Kingdom. What is happening in the United Kingdom is bullshit. 12,000 people are being arrested every year for sometimes very minor things they say on social media. Is there freedom of speech in England anymore? It's disgusting what's happening there. If you post something on social media that could be interpreted as offensive, and of course I'm against posting anything offensive, you could go to jail, and many people have gone to jail for 1 to 2 years. If you retweet something on social media in the United Kingdom, you can go to jail for a couple of years. It's happened. It's bullshit. And for those of you that live in the United Kingdom, please protest. Please write your MP, your member of parliament. It's not fair what's happening with freedom of speech. It's not fair. And of course, I'm against saying anything negative that's going to, create violence against certain people. But there has to be an element of freedom of speech. Otherwise, what happens is United Kingdom becomes communist Russia. Ooh, that was political. But that's how I really feel. Okay. And then Danish wrote, keep building. IQ is not anybody's claimed asset if he gained by a well-experienced person like you, Ted. I agree with that. Yeah. I'd rather hire somebody that is hardworking than somebody that has a high IQ. Yeah. I always love hiring people, and the most successful people are as follows. They're poor, smart, and hungry. And smart is all relative. So when I was younger, and one of the reasons I do what I do, okay, when I was younger, I went to a school where they wanted to fail me in the 6th grade and the 8th grade. They thought I had a learning disability. Those fucking teachers killed my confidence. And they sent me to a learning disability center on Lakeshore Road in Oakville, Ontario. I remember that. Yeah. And they found out that maybe I didn't have a learning disability. Maybe I just wasn't passionate about what I was doing. And all I remember when I was a kid in school from the teachers is the props they brought in. Show and tell. And that's why I teach with a lot of props. Yeah. Maybe I'm too transparent. Too much information, right? Okay. Those who can't do, teach. And those who can't teach gym class. And you know that's true. I'm just kidding. Actually, I'm not kidding about the gym class thing. I love teachers. Sort of. Okay. I made a goal card 2 days ago at deadlines. It's small, 4 goals only. I keep it at my PC work, and I work on it every day. Excellent. Do that. Do that. What I used to do with my kids was every summer, I would make them read for like an hour a day. If they read in the first 30 minutes of being awake, it was like 30 minutes, right? And I let them choose the book. And so my son, Andrew, who was born in New York City, when I worked in the hedge fund industry, he loves Derek Jeter. So what he did was he read a book called The Goal by Derek Jeter. Great book. And the reason Derek Jeter is very successful, the bottom line is this, is when he was 9 years old, his parents made him, on the wall, every year, put down his goals. Little things like clean my room, be nice to mom and dad, and I'll say my prayers, get A's and B's. And my son Andrew still does that today. And I want you guys to do that as well. And I think that's one of the reasons why he's successful. Yeah. And also he has the genetics from his mother. Yeah. Yeah. And then my son actually, he's doing investment banking. Yeah. Here in Palo Alto. Yeah. Okay. You have to build a school in India after your little sister and Mother Teresa's name. It would be fun memory for both of them. Yeah. I'd love to. In Calcutta, where you're from. Yeah, I'll do that. I will build a school with you, Banas. I'll pay for it in Calcutta in honor of Mother Teresa and Katie, my little sister. I swear in the Bible I'll do that. Thank you for that. How do you banish fear from life, fear of existence, or fear of present, and so many things that goes in the mind when one is young and naive and passionate? I'm scared. Yeah, okay. So I don't want you to be fearful at all, and I'll tell you how I deal with anxiety, okay? So God always knows what's going to happen, and that should put you at ease. Things are never as bad as they seem. Don't focus on the past. You can't control it. Keep your head down, be proactive, work hard, and good things will happen. And if you worry about the future, you're kind of questioning your faith. And we don't want to do that. And Sir Winston Churchill once said, I met a man on his deathbed who talked about all the worries he had in his life, none of which came true. We worry about crap that never happens. God always has a plan. And that should put you at ease. That should help you sleep better, help you be happier every single day, and it'll help you live a long, fulfilled life. Our goal is to be happy today and every day. One of the most pathetic things I hear, and I'm guilty of this in hindsight, is people say, I want to work hard, amass a fortune, so I can enjoy the last 5 or 10 years of my life. What a useless existence. Enjoy every single day. Live for today. And if you get out of bed morning and you thank God for 10 things, like I mentioned earlier, before you get out of bed, you'll be in a peak mental state every day. Okay. And whenever I mention God, the number of live concurrence goes down a lot, but I don't care. Yeah. Okay. How do you do research on private companies? Yeah. So I read a business plan, similar to the business plan template I showed you a couple of minutes ago, which is part of my venture capital boot camp in my MBA degree program. Yeah, so it's pretty simple. And if you can't get financials on that private company, you can always go to sec.gov and download the financial statements of companies that are similar to that are publicly traded, right? Especially using the S1 document, because you might get a couple of years of historicals before the company went public. Yeah. Okay. My hair's going to get messy. I'm letting my hair go curly, yeah? All right. Let me know. Should I keep my hair short or this length from now on? Okay. Most people are shy to speak or share their opinions. If we want to build a community for an EdTech business, how can we make these people talk? And also, how can we bring people together to a physical location and make them share their opinions? Yeah. So what I do in my business, okay, when it comes to developing a community is, first of all, I tell everybody before they join that bullying will not be tolerated. And I ask everybody to introduce themselves. And nobody is allowed in that is a jerk, right? Because we all know that one bad apple can destroy the culture in a company, a team, etc. And so people share wins as well, okay? And they're very honest and very open. And we're all there to help each other. Now, what you can also do is gamification, which is what I do, okay? So, for example, over the past 7 days, Santra, who's from Montreal, she's great, has gotten 112 points. Past 30 days, we see who's the winner. Eben from New Jersey. He works at Pfizer, is first. All time, hopefully I'm up there somewhere. Am I? No, I'm second. So there's gamification as well, right? We also have a lot of events as well. We have daily Zoom calls, etc. And you want to make it accessible too. So for me, in my community, I've got an iOS app that anybody can download after they join my community, and also an Android app. Right? So there's accessibility for everybody. So anyway, that's how I help with engagement. Yeah. Okay, I got to make that transition speed faster. Okay. I read your article on why investors exit if a company is failing. Yeah, and that was from, I was a guest writer in venturebeat.com. Yeah, when I worked at VC, that was 2014, I wrote the article, yeah. There you mentioned some companies prefer staying private longer to be profitable. I didn't get that part. Yeah. So back in 2014, the trend at that point in time was companies were staying private longer so they can have bigger IPOs. Okay. And the reason that happened was because a lot of mutual funds and hedge funds, they started massively underperforming, right? And they weren't generating alpha, meaning they weren't beating the S&P 500. So what happened was a lot of mutual funds and hedge funds around that time, and to this day, they started investing in private companies. Okay, so that means that private companies could stay private longer, generate a much bigger net worth, and then instead of doing an IPO at $1 billion, they could do an IPO at, say, $500 billion or higher, which is what's going to happen with OpenAI, as well as with Anthropic, the parent company of Claude. Yeah. And one of the reasons, and Elon Musk is so brilliant, one of the reasons he had SpaceX buy his AI company is he wants to front run, meaning go public before OpenAI does. It's a race. Okay, it's not just a space race. He wants to go public before OpenAI and Anthropic do. Yeah, it's brilliant. And later this year, Elon is, in my humble opinion, going to be the first trillionaire. LegalZoom is a company you use a lot. It's down 17%, yeah, after Claude launched its legal tool. Yeah. I still think LegalZoom is going to exist longer term because LegalZoom is not an AI company. You actually talk to real lawyers, right? And it's cheap, right? And I use it a lot. It's like $35 or something for a half-hour call with the lawyers, right? That's pretty cheap, yeah. All right, Dark Luminaire wrote, can you explain real estate cycles, how to find out the current stage of the cycle and what factors are driving it? Yeah, absolutely. So for that, what I recommend doing is I recommend, if you're a member of my community, you can go and watch the complete real estate course. And depending on where you live in the world, what you can do is you can analyze where we are in the real estate cycle right here, okay? So there's different stages, and I ask you a bunch of questions. And based on your answers, then what I do is I tell you what stage you're in the real estate cycle. Okay, yeah. And every market is a little bit different. Okay. Mallory, how are you? Mallory is my little sister. Yeah. She wrote, I like your hair longer. Thank you. I appreciate that. Awesome. And Mallory, I hope to see you more often on the daily calls. Okay. Yeah. And Mallory, if you get a chance, set up a one-on-one with me. Yeah. Thanks. And I'll see you also in about a half hour on the call. Okay. All right. Dark Luminaire wrote, can you please share a couple or all of your biohacking tips, less from the physical side, but more from the body and product side, like edible stuff? Yeah. Sure. Absolutely. Okay. So we are all deficient in certain vitamins, or vitamins, as Mallory would say in England. And sometimes we don't know what they are. And so I believe in blasting our body with at least 100% of the daily recommended value of vitamins. And so one product I take every day is called Daily Advantage, right? And I'm in the middle of taking these by Dr. David Williams. You can do a search on it, okay? And always talk to a doctor and all that crap before doing any of this stuff, yeah. I also take, from Ray Kurzweil, this daily product from him as well to increase longevity. And so Ray Kurzweil, there's resveratrol in this, which is from red wine, etc. I don't drink anymore, but I don't drink any less. So Ray Kurzweil is a VP of engineering for Google, right? He's brilliant. So I take this as well. What I also do is I drink bulletproof coffee. I've been doing this every single day almost without missing a day since 2015. And this is made by a Canadian company, Bulletproof. And all it is it's coffee that doesn't have preservatives in it. Because when you drink coffee, usually there's preservatives in it. And what happens is, you get that beautiful coffee high, which I love, but then you crash. Without preservatives, you don't crash as often. Now, what I also put in this bulletproof coffee is every day I put MCT oil, which is coconut oil. Be careful with that. Please talk to your doctor first and all that crap. Because if you put too much in initially, it's going to give you stomach aches. Then what I also put in is I put in a tablespoon of grass-fed butter. I know it sounds weird, but it tastes like cream in it, right? And people have been putting butter in their coffee or tea for hundreds of years, which gives you this insane ability to think and speak gooder. It helps a lot. Yeah. Aside from that, every antioxidant I can think of on the planet I put into these weekly 7 things of drinks I put in my fridge, including a lot of kale. Yeah. Whey protein, etc. Yeah. Okay. Next question is Marc Andreessen. So Marc Andreessen he was one of the co-founders of Netscape years ago. He also founded Andreessen Horowitz, one of the best venture capital firms on the planet. I met him many times. I've also been on the board of a company he was on the board of, which we had an exit. Good guy. Really smart. Speaks much gooder than me. Marc Andreessen said software will eat the world. Yeah, he said that in a groundbreaking article in the New York Times in 2013. Yeah. And it is. But do you think AI, specifically LLM and generic AI, will eat software? Yes, smart. And if I were Marc Andreessen, he's probably already done this. I'd probably write an article saying AI will eat software. Yeah, I do. Yeah. In the long run. Okay. All right. Dark Luminaire wrote, hey, Chris, I'll try my best to save for buying your course 5 to 10 years down the line. Sure. Think whatever works for you. Or don't buy, just join these weekly calls and ask me questions if you want. Yeah. How much is the price projected to increase? Yeah, I don't talk about price. Yeah, thanks. But we do have payment plans as well. And every program I have, there's a 30-day 100% money back guarantee. So if you're not getting it 10 times return on investment, you have to ask for your money back. Yeah, if anybody's curious, just set up a call with me at that link you see right there. For those listening on Spotify, podcasts, etc., that link is harounmba.com/meeting. Okay. All right, Shiv wrote, I booked an online Zoom call with you, but didn't get any response from you, nor did anybody respond. Yeah. Try again, I guess. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that doesn't sound like us, though. Yeah, we're pretty thorough. Okay. How do you, and if somebody doesn't show up in the first 10 minutes of a Zoom call, we don't wait. Yeah. All right, last question I'm going to take, and then I'm going to wrap up today's webcast. And for those of you that are in my premium products, I'll see you today at 10 a.m. My premium products, you get all 700 hours of my courses for life, okay, and all new course I ever make. You also get daily small group Zoom calls with me every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. That's 300 hours per year. So now we're at 1,000 hours. And you can join my lectures where I teach live every Monday and Tuesday night for 3 hours. So now we're at 1,300 hours. And you get one-on-one meetings as well. Yeah. So if anybody's curious about that, go to harounmba.com/meetings, set up a call with us. All right. So last question I'm going to take is this. How do you protect your confidence from defensive parents and their pessimistic behavior towards risk and future? I had to ask this to you. It feels weird to ask this. Yeah. Ask me. I'll give you more details, dude, at the 10 a.m. call. I know you're a premium subscriber. We can talk about that in more detail. But think of it from your parents' perspective. So parents, everything they do, it's because they love you. Okay. But you gotta get to a point where you tell your parents that this is my life. I want to do what I want to do. but I love you. And you got to be respectful because, you know, one of the 10 commandments is honor your mother and father, right? But just if you explain to them, I'll be happier if I go down my own path, I'm sure they'll respect that. Okay. All right. God bless you guys. Thank you so much. Thank you for dealing with all the nuttiness on this call with my new pedal system. And for those of you that are premium customers, I'll see you in about a half an hour. And I'm going to end this video, like I always do, with a groundbreaking video. It's an interview with Steve Jobs, I licensed from the Silicon Valley Historical Association. God bless you all. I'll see you next week, which is going to be our 350th weekly webcast. Thank you.
When you grow up, you tend to get told that the world is the way it is, and your life is just to live your life inside the world, try not to bash into the walls too much, try to have a nice family life, have fun, save a little money. But life, that's a very limited life. Life can be much broader once you discover one simple fact, and that is everything around you that you call life was made up by people that were no smarter than you. And you can change it. You can influence it. You can build your own things that other people can use. And the minute that you understand that you can poke life and actually something will, you know, if you push in, something will pop out the other side, that you can change it, you can mold it. That's maybe the most important thing, is to shake off this erroneous notion that life is there and you're just going to live in it, versus embrace it, change it, improve it, make your mark upon it. I think that's very important. And however you learn that, once you learn it, you'll want to change life and make it better, because it's kind of messed up in a lot of ways. Once you learn that, you'll never be the same again.